What's up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the certifiably suave Dr. Disaster, and things are unraveling fast for Doctor Who. The final episode of the second season of Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor is releasing today, and there has been a ton of speculation that this will be the end of the show, at least for a while, as Disney is likely saying hell no to the terrible return on their investment, and this has caused a shitload of crying and whining from Doctor Who apologists.
I want you guys to like me, and you look at me like I'm a freak.
That's because you're stupid.
But the thing is, there really is no arguing the fact that Doctor Who is different now. They have tried to hide their progressive lecturing behind the facade of this beloved old show, but in the end, this is a skin suit, and their messaging is about as cringy as this.
We are language police, fighting bigotry! Hurtful words can suck our turds, cause it's PC for me!
That shit is gross!
With all of this in mind, you know things are really bad when even the BBC itself agrees that Doctor Who is unwatchable. Recently, audio from a BBC radio show has been recorded and is making the rounds on social media. It would seem that even they cannot stand what Doctor Who has become. So, if the show ends up being cancelled, for anyone out there still trying to defend this tripe, it isn't the fault of far-right extremists or anything like that. It is the fault of Russell T Davies and the jackasses at Disney and the BBC who went along with the terrible writing of Modern Who. We have been trying to say this for years now. Doctor Who has morphed into something wholly unrecognizable. With all the lecturing and moral hectoring, he has become Doctor.
What the hell is even that?
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, and also, don't forget to follow me over on X, where I keep a list of video games lousy with wokeness pinned to the account at all times for your reference, though I'm thinking I need to add TV shows like Doctor Who as well. Anyhow, my handle over there is Dr. Disaster 1. Also, I have started uploading content onto Rumble as well, so make sure that you follow Dr. Disaster on that platform too. But alrighty, let's see what's going on with Doctor Who and this clip that has been making the rounds on social media from the BBC. Before we listen to the clip, let's get the proper context. These are the ratings for the episodes of this current Doctor Who season starring Ncuti Gatwa. The numbers in this column here show the number of viewers for the first week of a particular episode. The previous all-time low for an episode in the modern Doctor Who era before this season came out was set by the episode Dot and Bubble from Ncuti Gatwa's first season. That number was 3.38 million, and now, as you can see here, over half of the episodes in this season are worse than that number. And the only two who thus far did beat Dot and Bubble only barely managed to do so. Viewership is absolutely tanking. Nobody is watching the show. With all of that in mind, let's hear this clip.
That in terms of like how many people are watching and what Doctor Who represents now, I've had a really interesting text. This is from Andy, who says, I'm a guy who considers himself of the left. Most of my friends are women, some are trans, some are gay. But even I cringe watching an episode of Doctor Who. It's no longer a family show about space and time travel. It's literally a bunch of memes telling us that white straight men are the source of all evil in the universe. It's aimed at 12-year-old girls, but watched by a declining number of people over the age of 40. If Doctor Who is dying, it's because the BBC has killed it. Yes, there were always stories that had messages or storylines about the environment or the misuse of power or intolerance, but now it has just become an intolerant programme condemning most of its viewers simply for existing. Now, it's interesting because when I watched this 20 minutes, it was just kind of randomly on, I was pottering around, it was on. I didn't feel as strongly as Andy feels, but I did notice like the diversity of the characters, and I was just like, okay, so this one's this person, this one's this person, this one's this person.
Yeah.
Fine, but I can see why Andy is saying what he's saying.
Sometimes it does feel like you're being lectured to. I think it really depends, depending on, who you are and kind of how much involved and how invested you are in this episode.
How does Doctor Who, like, the people over 40 still watching it and still wanting to relate to it in the same way? Like, you can't.
Or enjoy it. Just enjoy it and have that nostalgia. Maybe that's what Andy is saying. He feels alienated from even having that experience.
Yeah. But in the bits I have seen, I do kind of agree with him, because sometimes it does feel like you are being lectured to. I think in the few times we've had to watch it for Must Watch, because I never watch it by choice, I've come in and said exactly the same thing as Andy. So he's not imagining it. He's not alone. And, that I have always wondered if, how do you keep making a show if it is just lecturing at people and you're not just getting the time travel, space nonsense stuff?
Okay, so let me throw this out there. Christopher Eccleston's Doctor Who episodes never dipped below 6 million viewers, and it averaged around 7, 8, 9 million, something like that per episode. David Tennant and Matt Smith were the same. They were all kind of hovering around 8 million per episode at an average. Now, Capaldi's run saw a dip in writing quality, and viewership dropped down to around 5 million at its lowest moments near the tail end of his run. And by the end of Jodie Whittaker's run, the show became preachy and woke as hell. It was transparently bad, and we saw the show struggle to get anywhere near 5 million viewers. But now, with Ncuti Gatwa, the show is struggling to stay above 3 million viewers for a week. Even the BBC admits that this is because Doctor Who has become utterly unwatchable. So, for anyone out there who wants to whine that people being critical of Doctor Who are just racist or homophobic or whatever, and that it's our fault that the show appears to be dying, just know that we tried to tell you. When eventually the show goes on the hiatus that it seems doomed to get to, even if it doesn't happen right after this season, even if it takes another season or two, when this eventually happens and you don't have Doctor Who for a good long while, just remember that we tried to explain that this preachiness is insufferable. Talking about intolerance is fine. Talking about white males and calling them the root of all evil, that just doesn't fly. That is the essence of wokeness, in fact. The assertion that current progressive sentiment is just categorically true and shoving it into everyone's faces, that is what wokeness is in a nutshell, and people think that it sucks, so deal with it. But I'm going to leave it there. Do you think the show will see another season after this one? We're likely to find out soon. Drop your thoughts into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.